This is going to be a one skillet meal, but it's going to be in a couple of stages. But I'm going to do a steak and pepper tortellini tonight. This is a 20 ounce of the 5 cheese tortellini. I've got some cheese, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, garlic, olive oil, beef stock or broth, heavy cream, 2 peppers, an onion. I picked up some cheese bread at a local grocery store here in Cicero that is really, really good. And then steak and cheese. I don't know if I said that. Basically, we're going to cook the steak. We're going to cook the peppers. We're going to throw the tortellini in the pan. We'll make a sauce, and then it'll all come together. This week is going to be really easy, quick meals. I just happened to have some of these ingredients. I wanted them out of my refrigerator. And I really wanted the cheese bread. I've got my pan starting to heat, and I've chopped up half an onion, an entire yellow pepper, and an entire red pepper. I've taken the steak out, and basically we're just going to do steak bites with this. And sirloin is perfect to do this with. I don't know about you, but I don't think anybody has money in the budget to do this with ribeye or anything anymore. But I'm just going to do basic steak bites. And once we get all this together, we'll start cooking the steak in the pan. And we just want to get it seared off. And we're just going to salt, pepper, and garlic this. So I've got the steak all cooked, or all chopped up into the bite-sized pieces that I want. And we're just going to do some salt, some pepper, and some garlic powder. And we're just going to do a quick sear and cook it. We're not going to overly cook this because this is going to go back in at the last possible moment. So I want to get this all nice and browned. I've taken the meat out. Now I'm going to put the onions and the peppers in. And we're going to do just some salt on this. This is going to take about 5 to 6 minutes. It'll take longer than the steak did. But we just want to get this all nice and soft. Okay, I've cooked the peppers down. Now it calls for a half a cup of beef stock or beef broth and a half a cup of heavy cream. I don't think that's going to be enough. So we're going to start, heavy cream is really thick. So there's a half cup broth, half cup heavy cream, and I'm going to rinse this out and just add an extra 1/4 of a cup of beef stock. I just don't think it's enough. Or maybe I'm wanting a creamier pasta. I don't know. But it calls for 20 ounces of tortellini. So there's my thought process. We're going to let this come up to temp, and then we'll get the tortellinis in there. Okay, it's coming up to a simmer. We're going to add that 20-ounce package of tortellini. See what I mean? We'll have to play this by ear. Let's see if it... Let's get it all nice and coated. And then it's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. Remember, these are refrigerated, so they're not the frozen, they're not the dried that you can get. These are refrigerated, so they don't take very long. They do make for a very quick, easy dinner. All right, I'll let you know what we end up doing. Okay, we're at about 2 to 3 minutes and it's just bubbling away. I did add another 1/4 cup of cream just because. I'm going to add the Italian seasoning. I'm going to add some more pepper to this just because I feel like it'll have enough salt with the stock. And we're going to add cheese. And I am going to add in some more garlic. Let this reduce down just a little bit more and we will add in the steak and some cheese. All right, change of plans. Instead of the other cheese, I'm going to add in some fresh Parmesan. I think this will just work better. Because I want it to mix in with the sauce and thicken it just that little bit more. That's exactly what it needed. Now this isn't a heavy Alfredo type sauce. This is just a light cream sauce. There we go. Take that steak, add your steak back in. I'm adding the juices because it doesn't hurt anything. And now let's get this all coated. And that's how easy dinner is going to be tonight. That's how easy dinner is going to be all week. And luckily this made quite a bit because this will be my lunch tomorrow. There you go. Thanks for joining me tonight. This is one of those dinners that they call how dumb of a dinner can you make, or how easy of a dinner, or a dump dinner. I think it was dumb dump dinner is what it said. And it kind of intrigued me. I'm on a week where I've got to have really simple, otherwise we're not eating or we're going to get takeout. So that's kind of where we're at. So I've got a casserole dish. My oven is preheating to 400 degrees. We are going to do enchiladas. I've got the steak and cheese taquitos. I've got some cheese to shred to make it even easier. I've actually got shredded cheese, but this will melt so much better. I've got a can of refried beans, and I've got a jar of the good enchilada sauce because, yeah, this is the good enchilada sauce. We're just going to throw this together and throw it in the oven, and we'll have dinner. So I've got the refried beans. I got them out of the can, and I heated them just to make them more workable. But this is how we always do refried beans when we make refried beans. I'll heat these up in a pan or the microwave. This is heavy cream, or you can use milk. I happen to have the heavy cream. And we just put a little bit in. Not even a 1/4 cup. And it makes them creamier. So if you've had them at the Mexican restaurant and you're like, what in the world? Add some heavy cream to them. And then we'll just get them mixed. Probably have to heat it up a little bit more. And then we're going to put them at the bottom of the pan, and I have sprayed the bottom of the pan. If you wanted to, you could also throw in some Mexican seasoning in this if you want to. We're going to have enough seasoning and flavoring that I think it would be too much if I did it. But this is also the first time I'm trying this, so we may have to play with this recipe a little bit. Okay. This is nice and spreadable now. we're just going to spread this out. Now, I went ahead and greased my pan. It did not say to do that. It didn't show it in the video I watched. But I always grease my pans because it makes it so much easier. Okay, just a nice layer. Okay, I'm going to take the taquitos. Like I said, this isn't really a recipe, but this is an idea. So the way they put them in here was right in the middle, and they just put them in here, and it's the whole package. And we've all seen them use the burritos and everything else, and I've not even bothered with it, but this one just, I don't know, sounded good. I was looking for something easy. My husband always appreciates Mexican, and I did get the steak and cheese. In fact, my husband goes, ooh, steak, 2 nights in a row. All right. I've seen this where they put some of these, and I got 1 extra. So, trying to see if I can get it shoved in here somehow. There we go. There we go. Take your enchilada sauce. I haven't decided if we're going to use all of it. It looks like they used all of it. And this is the good enchilada sauce. It's nice and thick. Yeah, it takes all of it. I'm going to take this. You want it covered, all of this. Alright. Now in the video, and I couldn't find any black olives, it also says to add black olives on top of this and then bake it. I probably would have only done black olives on a small amount, or I would put them on top. But we're going to bake this in a 400-degree oven for 20 minutes. In the meantime, we'll shred the cheese. We'll get this back out. We'll top the cheese, and then we'll melt the cheese. So this is after 20 minutes, and it is bubbling in there. So I've shredded an entire block of cheese. So we're just going to put it right on top. I'll probably use all the cheese. My husband would not appreciate it if I didn't. He likes things cheesy. And these don't have cheese in them, I don't believe. I think it, well, maybe they do, but it was steak. So, and you could use any of them. I went with higher quality ingredients. So that way maybe this would work in my mind. But you could use just regular enchilada sauce. Just make sure it's one you like. And you know, you can use any cheese. You can use any of the taquitos. So now this is going to go back in for 5 to 10 minutes. Well, here we go. It's all nice and bubbly. So it should be good and hot. I'm probably going to open up an avocado and use some sour cream on mine.